One episode of Candid Conversations.
Love it.
Tonight, we are featuring Reelz. So it's about to get really real in the field. Yes, yes. What's poppin', King? How you doing?
Man, I can't complain. Can't complain. I'm just having heard a little bit of echo in the background, but that's about it.
Mm. It's not overpowering. We're good. Can you hear? Are you hearing the echo in your headphones?
All right, now I'm not. Now I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. Cool. Cool. So yeah. So we're here live. I'm in Welland. Where are you located right now?
Oh, it's really delayed. I'm in New York.
New York. All right. All right. All right. So what's the vibe like in New York right now? Like, today's vibe, so to speak.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Can't complain about anything. Like it's sunny outside. Weather's good. People are out having parties. People are spending money. So New York is almost back to where it's supposed to be.
All right. We got a short bio here from MJ. You know
That's
what I
it.
mean? It says Reels has been around music and into the music game since 8 years old, running a full-fledged studio since the age of 18. From being in the studio, he always had a love for constructing the New York sound. He's worked with some of the leading artists and audio engineers in the music business. In the production field, he is as versatile as in the production field, he is versatile. He is proficient in all music programs, including Pro Tools, Logic, Reason, and a slew of other programs. Sorry, that was written by Reels. My bad. Didn't mean to
Okay.
discredit you, bro.
Mhm.
But yeah. So what was it like being 8 years old? What was the first thing that drew you to the music?
So what happened was my brother actually kind of on some babysitting stuff. What happened was he had a rap group called Ultimate Force back in the '80s, right? They happened to get a production deal with Teddy Riley through his, and Teddy Riley had a label called GR Production, or that's what it's their production team. So he happened to get a production deal through them, working with them for about a year or two. They had some things that not the group itself, but GR Production fell out, and that's a whole nother story. But from
Hmm.
that time and point, my brother and the group made money. They started touring, and I was the little brother that was just in the studios pressing buttons and messing things up. And then just
Okay.
from that, kind of grew up from that. Um, Went to school for it. After high school, was in college for it, and kind of started my own little first personal studio. You know, we started with a basement studio, and then kind of grew from there into what it is today.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
So, so here's a question. Because I
Shoot.
always ask what's changed. What has maintained its consistency from the beginning to the end, the current aspect of your career?
What's the main thing about consistency, as far as like, I'll just say the consistency about audio is just having good clients, having good people to work with, having people who are stars in their own right. What I mean by that is people who love to actually take care and do what they do diligently, practicing their craft. Like a lot of
Mm,
times you get in the studio, like you'll get people that they're okay, they're just trying out music, they're trying to see how their voices sound on it. And then
hmm
one day you'll get somebody that walks in there that completely understands it, that completely has their own thing, and you're like, oh shit, it's like night and day. So
hmm
you'll see that it's different. It's so many different levels to this shit. Like I've recorded from anybody from Future, Sierra, Mano to like people that's local, and you'll hear the differences and you'll hear what's what. So it doesn't matter who you are. It's about staying consistent, basically.
mm, mm. Well put.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, looking at that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who was your first, we'll say, okay, who was the first artist that you produced that completely culture shocked you?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. The first, actually, to keep it honest, it was one of my people's. actually one of my peoples from down south. This is actually this goes back a few years ago. So the first person I actually produced was this dude, not even from down south. I'm saying down south. He's actually from Hempstead. From his name was Unibomb. So this is going back to like 106 and Park days where dudes was running around
Okay.
battling people. So Unibomber was from Hempstead, and we happened to just connect off of the humble. Like after he did that, just running around in different circles, actually met him, did a little production for him, and I thought he was just a battle rapper. And then he actually got in and spit bars, and it actually just threw me completely off because I'm like, all right, I just thought you was one thing, and then your pen game and structure is different. But that was the first one. That's going back years ago. That's like going back maybe 10 or 15. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. Massive. All right. So, huh? It's funny.
Yeah.
Um, I was actually 8 when I started playing the trumpet, and I saw it when I was 4.
Okay.
I first started school, and I had to wait 4 years to play that thing. But when I got it, boy, it was one of the most freeing things I could do. You know what I mean? Making music with that instrument. So I want to ask you, what is the most, I want to say, what's the most freeing experience that you have had through music?
Hmm. There's so many different aspects. All right, so going back a few years, I used to perform also, used to rap. So being on the stage and performing is different, it's a different high. Because once you get people to follow you and execute your words and say your shit back to you, that's a different high. Being in the studio, working with certain people for me was like a high. Like hearing mixing something with like Billy Dance from MOP or hearing something back from Nano or hearing something from Fred the Godson. When you hear those things back, it was like, okay, cool. Like this is different. It's like you're live. You actually realize like you're in the game. So
Yeah.
it's different experiences and like what I attributed to everything to is like just staying consistent. Like the reason I have these experiences because like just staying consistent, trying to stay in the studio, just staying around networking. So it's really a consistent thing when you have those experiences if you keep yourself busy and keep yourself in the loop.
Okay. Okay. You got to be in the room to
Definitely got
make
to
the
be in the room.
moves. I was just
Definitely got to
talking.
be in the room.
I was just talking to a man who I did an interview of, Lendor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just finished writing the article for the Culture Shock magazine. Culture
Nice.
Shock magazine. The mega issue will be dropping at the end of this month. So right now you can check out the super issue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a super issue. Issue 22 and 23 combined to make a super issue for the summer because, you know what I mean, life happened at different frequencies at a different rate. So many
Definitely.
good things happened that I had hoped for, but wasn't like, you know, when you think, hey, this good can happen,
Right.
and then it happens as you're thinking it.
And then it's like, oh, everything's a synchronicity. It's like works right
Mm,
out.
that's what my summer's been so far. That's what my summer's been so far. I had to combine the issue,
Mm-hmm.
make it one big thing, and next month we're doing a mega issue. It's going to be issue 24, but it's going to be one big issue. I'm not going to say how many pages, but it's going to be at least the same amount, but it's going to have more. Like it's a year in review.
Okay. So
So,
you pretty much give it back what you've done over the year and people you interview. Yeah.
hmm hmm
Makes sense. Makes sense.
so yeah. That being said, your year in review.
Mm. So far, it's been nothing but traveling the shows with my guys who are artists. Shout out to Snooze Daily. Shout out to Jamar Milton. Shout out to Just Call Me Al. Shout out to Hotel Tales. Shout out to Born B. Shout out to Limelight Scheme. Shout out to Kane Sparks. It's just been running around with the Long Island music scene. And shout out to my boy DC3, definitely. Like the Long Island music scene has been different over the last few years. So I've just been out and about supporting the same guys that I came up with right now. And that's
Okay.
really been a year to review. It's like every weekend has been a concert, whether my guys is in New York, Jersey, or abroad in California. So it's just been moving and making things happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, like, it almost feels like things are back to normal.
Almost. You are absolutely right. There's still little things here and there where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna chill and stay back in the motherfucking house until they figure this out. But there's other things where it's like it's nice to have the nightlife back. It's nice to. The
Yes.
one thing I don't like, because I mean, down here in New York City, is the trains. We're back to pack trains. Never really was a fan of trains anyway. But you know, when you do have to travel, you have to deal with that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's one of the bad parts about everything. But other than that, man, I was glad to see people back outside because this COVID shit, it was twofold. It either made your relationships and bonds stronger, or it showed you truly what people are.
Yes. Yes. Because when you're forced to stay in,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Because a lot of people's relationships are, you're gone to work.
Yep.
One of them's gone to work or out of the house. One or both of them are out of the house for most of the day. When they get back into the house, it's only for a couple hours to eat, shower, sleep.
Right.
Then they wake up and they're gone. So you go from 10 hours away from each other to 18 hours together.
Yeah, it doesn't work out too well sometimes, and then you start to realize, like, why did I even like this person? So I mean, it was a lot of people went through self discovery and rediscovering an other person they was with. Some people, man, they're living different lives now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Made a lot of life changes over the course of that 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh man. So hey, I'm not mad. I am where I'm supposed to be.
Right. That's it. That's it right there. That's all you can be.
Exactly. So now, it looks like you're in your studio.
Yep. Okay. So behind my left shoulder, well, actually, it'll be my right shoulder, looking at the camera angle. It's an old MPC 2000 sitting there. So I'm in the process of transferring beats from my 2000 to my other equipment and just tracking beats right now. Because even some of the older beats are still worth it and still mentionable and still useful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I got like nothing but respect for that.
Definitely.
I'm looking. So it seems like that's your favorite piece. I was gonna ask you what's your favorite like equipment.
Nah, it's funny. If I could turn the camera around and it's more equipment here. So that's the older MP. Then I have the MPC X. Then I have the machine. And then I float more or less between programs. Like I could be in Reason, and then I could be in Logic. It really depends on how the feel of the beat's going. You know what I mean?
Have you ever used Nuendo?
I've used Nuendo only for recording, for strictly recording and tracking. I've never used it for like making beats.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's what I've usually used it for, like the whole recording process.
Yes, sir.
Now here's a question.
Shoot.
Fruity Loops, Logic. What's the superior program?
Oh my God! So
yeah, buddy, we're gonna have that debate because it's been decades.
Give me a second. Let me go get a lighter because I'm gonna have to spark something for this.
All right, cool. You get that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Candid Conversations, episode 146. We are here with Reelz. Check out Culture Shock issue 22 and 23. ShareTheShock.ca/super-issue. It is what it is. You know what I mean? We're getting into this debate about what's the better or the more superior program, Logic or Fruity Loops.
So, funny thing is, all right, they're good for both of them are good for different things. Logic is again more for recording, tracking, and you can make beats in it. So it's one of those things where you can literally do everything in Logic and be all right. Fruity Loops just came out with different updates where you can actually record in it. I wouldn't advise it. I like it more for making beats. I like it for a hat, playing with the hats, like it for the piano roll. But overall superior, don't hate me, Logic. I'm gonna go with Fruity Loops because I like making beats more than anything. You know what
I mean? I spent the first part of my career making beats on Fruity Loops.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the academy, learned how to use Logic, became a fucking Apple snob.
Yeah, and Apple does make you snobby.
It does.
I'll tell you, anybody who has an Apple product and you talk to anybody who has an Android, you feel like you're above them. It's almost like the
Bro,
British loyalty. Like, no,
no,
Apple.
no. Yes. It's like, oh, can I borrow your phone for a second? Oh, oh, no, never mind.
Word. No Androids. We don't do that. How's
No,
your
no.
buttons line up? Yeah, it's funny. That is funny.
So yeah, but like, I gotta give like roses where they're due. I
Okay.
worked with DK Lonely for a bit.
Got
Yeah, I
you.
mean, DK Lonely, and he showed me a 1-2 thing about Fruity Loops that I had forgotten, and then we
What's that?
just it was the sampling part.
Ah,
Edison.
yeah, Edison. When I first learned it was a little bit different. And this is the thing about I give props to anybody who uses Fruity Loops in Ableton. I fucks with y'all all day because programming like that from versus when I came up, I'm an in the box head. So I started out on the SP12. If y'all guys don't know what that is, you might want to go look that out. It's a sampler that only sampled for 2.5 seconds. It's a sampler that I can load one disc, go get a sandwich, make a sandwich, sit down, come back, maybe play Mario, a video game. That's what Mario Brothers was back for about 5 more minutes, and then I'll get a sound loaded in it. It took like 10 to 15 minutes to actually load sounds in this thing. So, needless to say, I started back in the 80s, okay? Move from that to the SP1200. I got a whole 2.5 more seconds of sampling. Great. So the good thing about back then is you had to learn how to sample a whole lot in a short time. I'll give y'all a producer trick real quick. If y'all ever got records or these days y'all on y'all rain mixes and rain DJ sets and all that, if you ever want to get a whole bunch of things sampled when you're using analog gear, speed it up. So what we used to do back in the day is we wanted to get a whole sample in that was like 10, 15 seconds in 2.5. You speed the record up to 78. It sounds like a chipmunk. Then you slow it down. That's why a lot of the 90s sounds, when you hear production from the 90s, definitely later 80s and 90s, you hear like certain pitch and harmonies and inflections in the sample that you're like, why does it sound like that? It's playing that regular speed. But because of this analog gain and the conversion ratio of those microchips back then, you had this sweet, warm sound that now we don't have anymore.
No, now everything sounds kind of flat.
It's funny, we're emulating digital, we're trying to emulate analog sound in a digital realm, but we made everything digital now to try to replicate it, and it just doesn't, it's getting to a point where it sounds right, but there's nothing like that real thing. You know what I mean?
But to get that now, it's like to get that tape sound now, you literally have to record a tape sound.
Well, shameless plug. You can either record a tape sound, or you can go get the gear that has analog, combines the best of analog and digital. Like what I use Universal Audio. I run a Universal Audio rig for everything. So basically, I have all my analog plugins, and they really replicated the plugins for that on this gear really well. Like it sounds comparable to all the plugins. And this took years to get like this. You couldn't the way things sound on this thing now. You couldn't do this 10 years ago. You couldn't do it 15 years ago. They finally got it to a point where analog and digital, you can mesh it and it sounds right. But my advice for anybody who's a production team or producer, it's about when you get doing beats is doing beats. The next step of that is getting your beats mixed and mastered. Yes. You can't. Even myself, I have my days. I'm around constant professionals. My guys are constant professionals. We all grew up together, but you look us up individually on Google, you'll see numbers, you see where we at. We'll make a beat and we'll have to run through a studio, get it mixed, or do what we do before we play it out for the fellas. And this is for my home team. These are my dudes sandbox, my guy. But at the end of the day, it's like they know what it's supposed to sound like because they're also in this game right now, too. So it's levels to this shit. And you always have to look to push yourself and make sure you're moving in a forward motion, especially in this game. You cannot be stagnant. You cannot get too caught up in yourself. Ego is a big thing in producers and let me just say this. It's no problem to stick to your own sound, but be aware of what's around you. Open your eyes, open your ears, and listen. Because it's always evolving. It's always evolving. One thing that conversations that always come up, with older rappers when it comes to newer production now. I'm pretty sure you probably heard this too from some people. I don't like that drill music. I don't like that trap music. I'm sure
Yep,
you heard that. And it's one of those
definitely.
and it's one of those things where it's like, the older generation, you gotta realize when we was doing hip hop, everybody was the guys who was doing. Our parents was on disco. They was on Marvin Gaye. They was on real R&B. So that hippity hop didn't sound right to them. Now we're the parents, so
Yep,
we can't be like our parents when it comes to this music. You gotta open your ears and be like, you know what? Listen to everything. Culture yourself, because I
yep.
swear hip hop is probably the only thing culture wise that black people have that we really have. That's us in America. That's our culture. We can't say we're cultured from our ancestors, so to speak, because we was cut off from Africa a long time ago. So if you're first generation, second generation, that's a little bit different. But if you've been in America, your culture for the last 50 years, hip hop, real
Basically,
shit.
basically, the realest form.
Mm-hmm.
I have an echo, ladies and gentlemen, and I have no idea where it's coming from because I've been checking my sets
Okay.
this whole time. I'm at a loss. It could be this. I
I'm
just
gonna
turned
turn.
off my AC.
Okay, I'm gonna turn down my speakers on this side. That might have caused you to echo.
All right. Well, I got the comment from a viewer. I'll try to do the best I can to continue with this. Hopefully, I'm not too quiet now. You can hear me though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I got no echo on this side, and I just turned my speakers down, so we should
All
be
right,
good.
cool. That's
Yeah, let us
blessed.
know in the
Blessed.
audience, definitely.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Michelle. Yeah. So yeah. All right, cool. Fire. We got the fire emoji. All systems go.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're here, and I'm sitting on. Like we just finished the show this past Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We had Effects May Vary come down from Newmarket. We had Murs come up from Buffalo,
Okay.
and then we had the POE perform in his current town.
Nice.
And I'm telling you, all of them brought it.
That's
All
what I
of them
like to
brought
hear, man.
it. Mm-hmm.
It's good to see a good show because shows are different these days, right? I just came
Yep.
back. I just came back from Jersey about 2 weeks ago, and Humag had their annual summer jam, basically, right?
Okay.
And they had it on the same day as Rock the Bells, and I ended up at Humag's event, and it was great. The sound was great. The venue was great. It was It was an open field, so all the sound you could hear everything. Everything was clear. They had food, shirts, everything. And my guys rocked out too. My boy Snooze Daily. Gotta shout him out. Gotta shout out the Humag family. Silence the Fifth, L Haggard. You know what I mean? I gotta shout out my guys over there. My
Of
boy
course.
Remo Dollars, Gotta shout out my boys. So yeah, I mean it was a great event and it's good to see good performances. The one thing these days is you can tell a seasoned performance versus people that's starting up. Like
Yep.
one thing I love when you go to performances, right? And this is one thing for artists. Here's a little advice for y'all. Y'all guys don't do when y'all doing a performance. If you're not using auto tune and you're just rapping, just have your ad libs in the back. Don't have your verse playing along when you're trying to rap to your verse. Nobody wants to go to a karaoke concert. People want to see you perform. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
Now,
true.
now if you got some T Pain work going on and you want your auto tune shit, you can have that in the background, but don't try to sing like your auto tune because obviously you're not gonna sound right. So it's a balance. You gotta
Yep.
learn how to perfect these performances, and you find these certain artists that like, yo, they dope. They're dope. They know what to do. The stage presence is everything, and that's it. And I think another thing is people are getting away from stage performances where it's like back in the day, it's like comedy. You have to have a tight vibe. You have to have a tight set.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's like people get up, and again, it's karaoke concerts. I'm gonna sing along to my shit, and I want y'all to sing along with me. But if we don't know it, we won't sing along. So it's better for you to perform it, so we get those words and those inflections, and hear it straight from your voice, and go from there.
You see, now here's the thing for me, because you're right. Whenever I record, I'm true to form.
Mm,
I make sure I do the full take. then I do overdubs, then I do ad libs.
Mm.
And then I'll take a layer of the overdubs and a layer of the ad libs to make a performance set.
Okay.
But like lately, admittedly, I've lost some of my catalog due to hard drives crashing and things of that nature. But still
Yeah.
had performance obligations.
Yep. Yep. I know that. Okay.
So,
And with
so,
that being said, those are those honest exceptions for the rule.
you
Because
know what I mean?
even me, I got songs that I did back in the day, and because of my team, I'm gonna be performing again. And it's like I gotta go find those track outs. And the new joints I'm doing, it's like even still, it's like in the case of that, what do? You might be out, everybody, yo, just hop on and perform real quick, and all you have is your full song.
Yep.
Okay, so you might have
Yep.
to rock out. You
Yep.
just go from there.
But true to what you're saying though, if if my song is like if my recording is you can get to know me or not, either way when in the spot I make it hot, I rock the top hot. If that's a recording of it, then the performance has to be you can get to know me or not, either way when
Right.
in the spot. You know what I mean? You have to go over top. It can't be you can get to know me.
But see, what happened was we got to a generation where we butted out. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with being a butted out MC.
Nope.
We had our Redmans, we had our Method Mans, but they
Yeah.
still get on stage and kill that shit.
Yes,
And
they do.
sometimes we get some artists, and they just like mad laid back. It's like, yo, this is my new single, and it is like, yo, that vibe. I get it. You a smoky artist, but on some real shit, you have to bring it. People want to see a performance. People want to see, well, why are you here? Because I'll tell you this, as an artist, right? If you performing and you notice the crowd is with you in the beginning of the performance, all of a sudden people start talking as people start going to get drinks, you took them out the vibe. And the only way you're going to get people in the vibe is you got to keep them entertained. You have to make sure they're entertained. You better be You better walk through those crowds and do what you got to.
Yep. So here's the thing now. I'll tell you. I'll take you back to July 25th, 2019.
Okay.
Okay.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. You know what I mean? All right. Got to shout out Mans Like Choom Gang. You know what I mean? Got to give the one-man army, you know what I mean, 905 his roses, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I was working with a woman whose name I will not mention on camera because of how she conducted herself, and she knows who she is. If she's seeing this, and she probably is.
Damn, shorty, you treat us fast like that. Damn. Well, we can't mention your name.
Not to tell you how it is, you ain't getting no promo from me. And fucking, you know what I mean? So I'm there. I have my set. I have my 20-minute set, bro.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, cool. Let me put on. Mm-hmm. So I put on. And I know I'm opening for a hype band. Like Choom Gang. Choom Gang's pretty hype, bro. Like as a CG, the whole squad, they have their, like when they unite, I call them like the Wu-Tang Clan of St. Catharines of Niagara region.
Nice.
That's basically the caliber of their talent. So then I have a show. I open for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Unbeknownst to my knowledge, the next act after me tries to pull some Obi Trice shit.
Uh-oh.
Now, Obi Trice had been in St. Catharines on December 6th. Obi Trice got a copy of both of my CDs. But Obi Trice is Obi fucking Trice.
Right.
So if he wants to pour Hennessy, he's going to pour Hennessy.
Yeah.
Bring up your cup, pour some Hennessy. So, artists saw that. And I'm not creating no complications from this. I'm just bringing up stories relevant to my situation.
Right.
So artist sees that. Artist decides, fast forward, to go to another club, 12 Mile at the time, and he wants to pour his liquor. The venue, the security guard says no. But I guess, he thought he was.
Yep.
So he goes to do it again. His set gets screwed up because the battery drops out of the microphone and hits the space bar.
shit up. Go ahead.
bro. So then, whatever happens, he gets all upset, and then he says, "Fuck Niagara."
Right.
Me and my squad had we had the crowd going, bro. We had some bumping tunes. Like I said, I had we had the crowd, like people were coming in and the crowd was forming. And then he says, "Fuck Niagara." The whole crowd disperses.
Mm.
So I'm like, "Fuck." So then somehow Choom Gang gets the crowd back into the place,
Right.
and they call me on stage because, for all intents and purposes, I'm responsible for them being there because I told the promoter about them.
Right.
Right? Their talent got them there, and I would never discredit that. But words were spoken, actions were
Yeah.
taken. There.
It is what it is.
So then,
Background work. Yeah.
exactly, my dude Joe Rell hands me the microphone. Like, I don't have any fucking songs on this set. What are you giving me the microphone for? They have a track that I actually know very well, and he had heard me singing it. So he gave me the microphone to do the backups for it. Bro, this is when hip hop in Niagara was like, it was thriving. People were like vibing. And then the shutdown comes. The resident effect of the dude before who did the thing on the stage.
Yep.
Owner comes downstairs. No, shut it all down. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yep. Kills the vibe.
Kills the vibe. Since then, the whole scene has been it's been gurgling. It's like every time it's like, you ever see like gravy boil?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the scene seems like out here, right?
Bad for business.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like I survive because I have a magazine, I have podcasts, I can go international. Like, shit, I'm
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Like, I mean, the strong will survive, absolutely. But it's just the culture. And see, I bet the culture up there was like, you got a lot of artists that want to do what they want to do, but it's just uniting the right artists of the communication and getting everybody together to make that happen.
I've said it before. I feel like the Nick Fury of Niagara region. Like, things are coming around, but it's like there are powers that be beyond our control that don't want hip hop to be in the forefront.
Right.
And not enough people. It's like the same conversation we were having earlier, or I was having earlier, where like, when are we gonna do something that demands the respect of our peers?
Well, yeah, it happens like this. You got to when people unite. Like, if y'all get a producer out there that just gets a few, maybe like 12 artists out there, starts doing mixtapes, starts putting that out through the community, that can get y'all united. That becomes a buzz. It happens. You got to do it. What buzzes start by uniting people. I mean, even as simple. I mean, like you say, you're international, but the way you got like that is by collecting information, whether it's emails, phone numbers, IG contacts. That's what it is. What people have to do is they have to create their own buzz and make their own reality. Like, at the end of the day, this world is such a big place. There's billions of people on the whole planet. You think you can't find 10,000 people that like the same thing you like? You connect with like-minded people, build your base, build your fan base, go from there. And you could be anywhere, especially now with the internet. You could be anywhere and make something pop. But the whole thing is really creating your base and going from there. And if you don't have a base, you better link with people who do have a base. You know what I mean? So that way you're around the people who've seen or heard, and you're in those conversations. The best thing to be is a fly on the wall sometimes, because one, you hearing things, you seeing things, people may not know you there, but eventually they can play, oh shit, there's somebody there. Eventually you're gonna get talked to. Don't get swatted. Just be there. Be in the moment.
Be in the moment. That's a good thing to be. Okay, so in the moment right now, we are about halfway through the podcast. And this is where I like to have some fun and flip the script.
Okay.
Now, when I flip the script, what I do is I give the guest the opportunity to be the host and ask whatever questions or make whatever statements they may have.
Mm.
So this is where
Gotcha.
you take the reins and, you know what I
Oh
mean,
man.
lead the
Well,
way.
tell me about the current state of music right now. As far as how do you feel about R&B music? Is R&B music like a stay in music, or because of having artists who's now doing like the auto tune thing, is R&B a forgotten art in music or forgotten genre, so to speak?
I think R&B is often overlooked. Like its importance is underappreciated
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of, I mean, if you look at a lot of samples come from R&B,
Right.
a lot of them. And then you have like just the natural sound of like a Teddy Pendergrass or a Luther Vandross or even like a Whitney Houston. And nowadays, like, I mean, likened to hip hop, R&B has bridged very many genres.
Right.
Um, Mostly, like it has a pop. Like the most common R&B right now is confused for pop.
Yeah. All the time.
So you know what I mean? Just because, like, Kelly Rowland has a track that someone put me on to,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's called Crazy, right?
Right.
It sounds dance pop, you know what I mean? Dance pop, but it's Kelly Rowland, so it has to be R&B because
It's Kelly
it's
Rowland.
Kelly Rowland. You know
But
what I mean?
but see,
Like,
and that's it's funny you say that because her being Kelly, if she creates a pop song, it should be. It's like she's an R&B artist. I get what you're saying,
yeah,
but if it's a pop song, it's a pop song by an R&B artist. Makes
yes,
sense.
yes.
Absolutely. Now, just feeding back onto that with the R&B things. Have you these days? I've been hearing a lot of samples from the '90s now. A lot of popular samples, whether it's Ashanti, whether it's I've even heard "Put It in Your Mouth" be remixed. Like I'm hearing a lot of these old songs from the '90s being remixed. How do you feel about that, and who do you feel is getting paid? Is it the production team or is it the rappers? Because we just had that Khalees incident happen between her and Beyonce, bringing up
Yeah,
Queen B again. So with
yeah.
that being said, how would you go about that?
Oh man, that's a hard sell because like I know I just sampled a '90s song and like I gotta make sure that the clearance is there before it hits anywhere, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I hear what you're saying in the sense of like, is it, whew, is it like, is it reasonable? Yeah, yeah, it's reasonable because when you think of, actually no, I don't think it makes as much sense. Sorry, and I'm gonna look at this from a legal perspective now.
Okay.
I think it would make more sense for us to go back 50 years
It's
because that way your copyright is clear. You don't have to answer to nobody. You don't have to ask no one for
mm,
permission. You
right.
just have access to that
Right.
right there. Now, if
Right.
you use something that's 49 years or less and it bangs, bro, I put up like, I mean, I've worked with artists that have put up Kanye covers and those
Mm-hmm.
come down instantly.
Yo, yeah, Kanye is. Come on, you not. Mm-mm, ain't happening.
Instantly. So you know what I mean? Like, and it should be, oh hey, you used my work. That's, I appreciate that.
Right.
I I have a substantial amount of wealth. I can, put towards,
Mm-hmm.
your growth or foster your growth and development. Or
Nope.
I could let you earn whatever you earn off of that because I've already earned enough. Nope.
Right. Nope. In this
Nope.
business, it's never enough.
No, it's never enough. And I know I'm speaking from an idealist perspective, but I'm telling you, if I spoke from a capitalist perspective, there's a lot of people that wouldn't have an occupation or a career.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There is.
Now, and you brought up a great point about just the fact of the 50-year mark with samples. After a certain mark, the samples are clear of copyrights, and you can sample and pay less. That was a great little nugget that a lot of people don't know about.
Hmm.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm sure you heard about the Beyonce thing with Khalees. Did you hear the Beyonce album that they was
Um,
referring to?
Now, either way I put this, someone somewhere is gonna have a problem with me,
Oh boy.
but I'm not in a position or at a balance where I can give a fuck. So I
Haha.
I haven't. I haven't. I don't remember the last anything I listened to that had to do anything with. I'm not. I didn't buy into the hype. I respect her for her credit, her capacity, her capabilities, her capital. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like more power to you. Um, I want the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
You and Jay Z are possibly like you and Jay Z are, or her and Jay Z, I'll say, are two of the most dominant forces in the business world
Yep.
of our culture, specifically in multimedia
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, the surrounding industry. But I'll say, I said this to someone one time when I was hyping on somebody. I was hyping on somebody, and then I was like, "Oh, yo, it's their birthday today." You know what I mean? Aren't you gonna tweet them happy birthday? And dude looked at me, he's like, "Do they know my birthday? Are they?"
Right. That
you
part. That part. And that's where
know,
people get caught up in the fandom of people like, oh, let me say happy birthday to him. Yay.
yeah,
But
they
see,
scroll.
the funny shit about that is, again, let's see, if you're an artist that actually cultivates your following, you can
Yep,
actually have that connection where even if it's an auto generated thing, you're singing happy birthday to your fans if you have that connection with them.
yep,
That's what makes it difference between having a few fans and a few thousand or a few million. Like small
yep,
things like that. Once you get to a certain point, of course, it's gonna be impossible to talk to everybody.
yep.
But you want to touch as many people as you possibly can.
Yeah, you say certain things about certain people, you are canceled.
Oh man, this
Period.
cancel culture is different. Different.
Bro, I remember when people used to just get dummied,
Yep.
like battery butt, if you will. Like this whole, and I'm not saying people shouldn't be condemned for their ill will,
Mm-hmm.
because I am about that 100%. You can't do bad to good people and expect to go around town, you know what I mean, like into other people's homes like you haven't done this bad thing. What the
Exactly.
fuck? But
Exactly.
there are people who'll see and know that there are others who are doing bad and welcome them into their circle because they're easy to control.
Exactly.
So it's like, well, there's two ways we could look at this. I could complain about not being involved with crooked shysters,
Or
or I could move forward and work with people who are willing to understand that although I may have limitations, they're not in my drive or my passion to accomplish my goals.
right. Makes sense. And when it comes down to that, that's again goes right back to who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Some people get into a point of they have to have yes men around them or yes
Yep.
women, whatever it is. But it's like everything they say, everything they ask for, and you really need to have somebody that's accountable to who you are and what you need to be, or who can help you keep grounded. Because
Yep.
things happen really quick where your ego can go, and then you in a different place.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now,
It's true.
spinning back to Kelly real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Like, um, you haven't heard the Beyonce album, but let's go back to let's say the Destiny's Child era.
It was
Who was
still
your
Kelly for me.
same here? I think just to give her flowers, I think she's probably the most underrated member of Destiny's Child ever. And
Bro.
one of the reasons why is because I think that the harmonies, the dancing, and everything, like Beyonce was the look, but
Yeah.
Kelly had to be the I don't want to say for lack of better words, brains and everything, but more or less like, hey, the influence. The
Yeah.
person who said instead of doing it like this, maybe we should try it like this. Hey, maybe we
Yep.
should wear it like this.
Yep.
And I just think she's never, even though she's a star in her own right, I think it's
Of
always
course.
been overshadowed by Beyonce because maybe it goes back to the whole political light skin, dark skin thing on how
It's
black people
Mark.
look at people.
Yep.
Who knows?
It's
But it's just
that's It's got to be that because,
Ye-
well, not it doesn't have to be that.
Okay.
It could be the marketing machine that was put more into Beyonce than Kelly. It could
Right.
be they like I said from Jump before the first version of Destiny's Child, it was Kelly. The
Hmm.
second version of Destiny's Child, it was Kelly. The
Yep.
third version of Destiny's Child, it was Kelly.
Kelly.
Kelly, Destiny's Child broke up, and it's still Kelly. You know why? Because Kelly is more humble with herself. I find
Right.
Kelly's more humble with herself, and that's nothing to say. There's nothing saying you can't be confident in yourself, and you know what I mean. But there's just something more relatable to her.
She's yeah. She does get that. It's a down home, like that's
Yes,
your home girl, that's your sister, that's your people vibe.
like she'd run a game of ball with you, or play some video games with you, or some shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Where and I hate to say this, but I've like because I haven't complimented her enough. Anybody who's heard this through the algorithms is gonna be like, anyways. But it's
Well,
like I don't think, and I could be wrong. Correct me if I am wrong. I don't think May would be doing down for that kind of shit. She has her like I mean, dancing alone takes up 8 hours of her day.
right,
You
right,
know what I mean? Like,
right.
where do you get the time for that other stuff? Okay,
Mm,
maybe not 8 hours, but like
you know,
choreography,
exactly.
like
Shit gets a
choreography,
little
makeup,
crazy.
all of that stuff. So you know what I mean? Like, and that's not to discredit Michelle.
Mm.
Day one stand up from the sandbox. Salute. B Rock says my brother Reelz. Day one stand up from the sandbox. But and that's not to discredit Michelle. Michelle can sing, but
That's my boy B Rock right there.
I
Yeah,
I don't know. There's something about her that didn't just sit with me.
yeah. Well, all right. I'm gonna spin off of the Kells real quick since we're talking about Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spin to the other Kelly. Um, I
Okay.
had a I had a conversation a few weeks back, and me and this woman was talking, and we was going over the whole R. Kelly thing,
Yeah.
and she was like, you know what? I can't listen to his music. I can't deal with him anymore because of all the things he did.
Hmm.
And my answer to that was, I agree. Like, I understand all the shit he did. But if
Hmm.
you look at all the artists that's out there, there are a lot of artists that did some shit that we still listen to.
Elvis,
So,
what?
uh, mm, well, we can look at Marvin Gaye for black people. Marvin Gaye had a lot of dark secrets that people didn't know about. He was insecure in a lot of shit. And if you ever read his book, there's a lot of things that was revealed in his books and amongst people. And just to spin off of that, we still listen to Brother Marvin like it's nothing. Um,
Hmm.
Now R. Kelly, I mean, of course, we're gonna look at 12 play a little bit different because who was he singing to? You know what I mean? But on the
Yeah.
same note, you can spin that and be like, well, look at Luther Vandross when he was singing "Turn Out the Lights." Who was he singing to?
Ah,
So it's so
wait,
many.
hold on. Before you go on to that one, and remember your point to continue.
Uh,
Mac Morrison,
mm,
Return of the Mac.
Matt. Yep.
The
Another
end of the
one.
song. Um, he says some things that are questionable, and
Absolutely.
I'll have to play the song
And
to remember exactly what they were. But um he's singing, and then the fill in is the questionable part. I gotta
right.
find that song. But either way, continue.
So it makes you. It comes a point where it's like, when do you separate the musician or the artist from the music, or can you? Because there's certain R. Kelly songs that for certain people is going to bring up high school memories. It might bring up their first love. It might bring up like the first time they was doing some crazy shit. Or it might be a song like "Stop Pose," the camera shit, where you hear the camera flash and shit, where it was just a good bounce song when you at a roller skating ring or you just at a party and it pops on. And it's like, it's a friendly dance song. You know what I mean? Or
Hmm.
"I Could Believe I Could Fly." It's
Hmm.
it's an upbeat song. So at what point do you separate it? Because if we look at, for your perfect example, Elvis married somebody. How old was Priscilla? Like 16,
What is she?
17,
14, 15, fam.
14, 15. Okay, so wow. And then drug user, abuser. I mean, We don't know what else he did because we didn't have Snapchat, Instagram, film, or crazy shit like that back in the day. But I mean, I'm only sure that he might have done some crazy shit also. Not to the extent that R. Kelly did it, but this is what happens when you have money in excess, and these things happen. So, my question to you is: can you separate the artist from the music, or do you feel like you know what? Once the artist does something fucked up, you can't listen to him
Okay.
no more.
Okay. So speaking of people I can't listen to the same way anymore, I just found the part of Return of the Mac that I was talking about. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now, I was in a group chat and we're just talking, and then this part of the song came, and then we talked about it.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So what does he say now? It goes, Return of the Man. Oh, little girl, what's my pearls? Up and down, round and
Right.
round.
Right. Oh hell
What
yeah.
the fuck?
Fuck. Oh. Damn.
Like, come on, bro.
Mm.
Like,
I
I'm
mean,
sitting here like,
bro, if we start
if we're talking
interpreting
about it.
lyrics though, like to that T, there's a few questionable bars from I remember Biggie back in the day had a few questionable bars where it was like,
Biggie has all kinds of questionable bars. Why are you
"You look
fucking
so
the
good,
man?
I'll suck on your daddy."
Fuck on your daddy's
Yeah, that
Tigger.
was
Tigger,
yeah,
what are you doing, Tigger?
that was a
No,
pause moment.
Tigger,
You know what I
no.
mean? But it just make again. It's like, all right, do you separate this artist? Be like, well, he said that. I can't fuss with him.
I just
So yeah, it makes you question things though. It makes you question where these artists' mindset is at. Sometimes you should say things for the throw to get the reaction that we've been given to this moment. But on the
what?
same note, all
Yep.
right, just to dive back on the Kelly shit, like, yeah, he did some shit. He was convicted for some shit. So certain songs I will not listen to. I cannot listen to the same way knowing that. But on the same note, let me flip it out of music and look at Bill Cosby.
Oh boy.
I'm a
Now,
damn sure look at the Cosby Show. I'm damn sure looking at Different World. That man, listen, if for those shows, for any '80s baby, those shows put people in college. Those shows got a lot of us that's in the same Generation X in college chilling. That's those same shows are the shows that's lacking right now. That this is the reason why we have a fall off in certain colleges because these kids coming up, kids are exposed to so much other shit now instead of shit that's right for them. And
yep.
I'm not saying that going to college and going to school is the end all be all because the reality of life is once you learn that to be an entrepreneur, to have your own is your own freedom, then you
Yep.
win it. Because when you go to school and you get a job and you work in 8 hours or whatever you working, and you're working to somebody else's dream, you're in slavery. The whole point of it is you gotta to educate yourself and learn how to not be working for somebody, work for yourself. But that's
True.
another show. That's it.
I gotta pull it back a second and
Shoot.
talk about Bill Cosby. Right
Okay.
now, there was conversation that Cosby got sunk the way he did because he was looking to buy NBC.
Niggas be
Now,
careful.
now to go the next step, I'm gonna bring it to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan had his controversy where he dropped the N bomb and he got canceled.
Right.
But what few people realize is he was also on the verge of buying the WWE from
Yep.
Vince McMahon.
We'll go back even further. Let's go back to Irv Gotti, Pimp
Mm.
C, Dame
Oh,
Dash,
okay.
and what's my other man name? What's my man name from down south? Oh man, Jay
Not
Prince.
easy, K. K
When
Prince,
they was
okay.
a, when they was about to form their own record, they was gonna form their own label and distribution. That's when
Yep,
Murder Inc. all of a sudden got caught up in their bullshit.
yep,
Pimp C went bye bye,
yep.
and everybody else had Dame. Well, you see where Dame's at. Dame's on his own, but he's still salty about how shit went. that's a whole nother story because you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things, bro. When I hate to say it, when us as a culture, as black people, acquire a certain amount of wealth and have a certain amount of power where we can do those things, everything comes up. And the only way we can combat that is if we actually stuck together like other races. Like I look at the people who are from Asia. I won't because you can. I don't want to lump everybody together. I don't want to say Japanese, but from the Eastern. Or you look at Jewish people or European, certain European people. Their culture
Mm-hmm.
sticks together. They
Yep.
work amongst each other and to a better thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that black people don't know how to necessarily do, or because we've been taught this or been put this over all these years of being here, we don't know how to break the mold. And these are finally the times where you're starting to see like the mold is being broke. That's why you're starting to see a lot of things happen, whether it's political with Roe v. Wade being changed up, which is a whole nother story. But again, it's a thing to try to control everything. And when it comes down to white people, I hate to say it, when it's a thing of in about 50 to 75 years, because of how people are being mixed up, them as a race may not be around anymore. That's a bigger issue than anything. So once they start seeing power shift, especially in America, if the power shifted to black people in America, could you imagine what the rest of the world would happen? It would be a domino effect. It'll be like, all right, well, if black people gonna run America, we have to kind of respect every country in Africa because America is the number one, so to speak.
But that's the thing. That's what we're on the verge of. But I mean, you look at 8 years of Trump, and
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
8 years of Trump, and then this fiasco
COVID.
that's going on now with COVID and Mr. Biden, who's shaking people's hands and shaking hands twice. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. But it's
Oh
different.
man.
But all to spin it back to like, yo, yeah, I do agree when certain people have certain power, they will pull the rug under them, and that's that. So back to R. Kelly. Do I feel like R. Kelly was helped with his situation? Hell yeah. Do I feel like it started off where it was like maybe one girl and then it became two and then became he had handlers and they was like, well, here, and they fed to his ego? Hell yeah. I think it happens to anybody who gets money, but the problem is you have to have somebody to ground them also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in this industry with labels, the control is the control of the artist, and the methods are money, drugs, legally, physically, spiritually, in any one of those orders, but those five things. So if they don't have a tape on you doing something stupid, if they don't have you fucking up doing something else, if they don't have you on drugs, they're gonna have you some way. Where it's like, oh, you don't want to listen? All right, I got you. I bet you don't remember this. They'll pull out a cell phone with something you doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say not to like big up P Valley, but big up P Valley because that whole shit that's happening down there in Chattanooga, where you got Uncle Murder's character being a gangster, but that shit happens in the industry all too often, and it's funny how that shit played out. Where they're like, there's niggas that know, and there's niggas that don't know, and then you got to kill off niggas that, yeah. Life imitates art. Art imitates life. That's why
Yes, sir.
you gotta be careful what you look at, what you say out of your mouth, and what's put into your soul and in through your eyes. It is what it
Mm-hmm.
is. Not to get too deep.
We there. We definitely there already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm telling you. So dope conversation here. Definitely enlightening, man. Oh man, Reels. I gotta invite you. Oh wait, we're not going anywhere yet. I got some
Yeah, yeah.
music.
Okay.
We got some music for you. All right. So before we close out, we're gonna drop some tunes by the man himself. This first one I got here. I'm gonna test your knowledge on your own track. I'm gonna play 3 seconds. See if you can tell me what the name is.
90s.
The
So
90s.
yeah,
Yep.
so
Yep.
I was a big fan of like Fox 5 shows back in the days. Like it was like Martin, then New York
Bap baps.
Undercover,
Bap
Living
baps.
Single. You
Bap
know what I mean?
baps. All
That was my
tree.
shit. That was
That's like
all my
damn.
shit. So
All of them.
you know what I mean? So I thought about it like if I was gonna make a soundtrack to like a show, you know what I mean? and Malik Yoba and Queen Latifah was on it.
Big up both
You
of
know what I
them.
mean?
Yeah,
Word.
yeah.
It'd be like some cop drama / he like a cop, but she likes to do karaoke, so she's a singer. So.
Side note, did you watch Equalizer? The new
Yo,
Equalizer, the TV show?
I fronted on it for a little bit, but I did catch a few minutes of an episode here and there. I
Yep.
can't say I watched the whole thing, but
Bro,
so far, pretty fucking good.
take a minute, bro. Take a minute still. Like when you like, you know what I mean? Take a minute, have a blunt and a drink and just, you know what I mean, make that some you time because it's pretty dope still. Like
Definitely.
Denzel would be proud.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh man. All right. Is there anyone you want to shout out?
I want to shout out everybody in Roosevelt, Long Island, hold your head. We had a lot of losses over the last 2 years. So first and foremost, rest in pieces to the people we lost. Too many to name, but we love y'all. Now to my people who are living, my guys, my day ones, from my boy Artel who checked in, love you, bro. Got shout out my producers, my boy Biz Beats, my boy Macho Go Zella. Yo, y'all gotta check them out. Go Google them. They also a part of RMG. We also get busy on the beats production. Now you need to check out RMG.com, RMGstudios.com, or check me on Instagram, RMG.studios. Inbox me, add me, friend me back. We're gonna talk. We talk business. Now, as far as shout outs, mad shout outs. Jamal Milton, my boy Just Call Me Out, Snooze Daily, Limelight, Skeens, Kane Sparks, my boy Tells, my boy Classic, my boy Vaughn B, my boy DJ Primetime, my boy DJ Prime. All my peoples that I've been running around with, chilling with, if I didn't name, you don't think it's no love. It's just like, yo, it's a lot of y'all, especially my boy Majestic, my boy Mina, like, yo, my day ones, my people who's been recording with me since I had my daughter 21 years ago, having her while I'm engineering, doing sessions, my day one peoples, love y'all. And shameless plug, yo, just check out rmgstudio.com. Check out my boy Jamal Milton. Check out my boy Just Call Me Out. Check out my boy Snooze Daily. Yo, check out my boy Phantom on the beats. Look him up. Check out my peoples. Check out DC3 for the clothing. Like when you want some gear, we want that Strong Island gear. Check him out. And we out here. All my Long Island peoples, we out here. That's what we doing. This year is all about networking, connecting, and making sure we connect the dots right. Because like in Niagara, I'm sure y'all got a bunch of MCs and a bunch of artists that want to do something. And Long Island is the same thing. And like on Monday, matter of fact, shameless plug, Monday night, come out. We're gonna be in the living room in Bethpage, 426 Montauk Avenue. I'm gonna be in there networking, just showcasing a few people, showcasing some of the beats. We're gonna be in there selling clothing, chilling, drinking. Anybody who comes in there and yells out RMG is free and it's on me. Just buy a drink, get a hookah, it's free, it's on me. Even if you don't buy a drink, get a hookah. I encourage you to drink and take a shot with your boy Rip. You know what I mean? And we're going to be outside. So this Monday, check us out at the living room, Long Island, 426 Montauk Ave. All right? That page.
Easy. The man's a walking promo.
Yeah, man.
It's like, yo, you want to shout? He's like, okay.
Gotta run the list, bro. Gotta let people know.
That's blessed. That's blessed. Yeah, man. So we got this track here. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Definitely the boom bap life.
on average does it take you to
On average, to make a beat, yo, it's funny. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 hours. It just depends on the beat. Like, and it depends on the sample. Like, because if you're sampling, I would sample some things and chopping the sample, making it fit right. Sometimes that takes time, but it's all relative.
Okay.
But this one was probably like a good 25, 30 minutes. Nothing crazy. Because I literally was up there looking at Living Single on Hulu. I was like, all right, yo, fuck it. We just chop something up real quick.
What program did you make this beat in?
This was in an MPC 2000. No, actually, the MPC X. The MPC X. And see, it's funny with me because I'm a funny producer. Because I use the MPC-X in the machine and Reelz, and I use the MPC as my main, and everything else is triggers, so it sounds all over the place.
That's from B-Rock.
Yeah, man. That's my guy. B-Rock is probably one of the nicest football players, basketball players, rappers. You know when you got one of them dudes that can do anything and just be killed? That's B. That's B. Okay. Boy, Artel right there. That's my boy. Like, yo, stories. I remember we had a pickup games and killing it. That's my guy right there, man.
All right, so the next one.
Yes.
Be that 3-second play. See what you got.
Oh, that's that Q-tip sample. That's that back in the day. That's that. Oh, I know the name of my own shit. Yes, I
do. That's a sample right there.
Yeah, that is the sample right there. Oh my God. I know the name of the beat. I'm just trying to remember the name of the sample. Oh. Boom. Hold up. Shut up. Back time. Aim to succeed and achieve at 21. That's
is this a track or a beat?
That's a beat. But the sample on what it was on that same beat, right? I used the Q-tip sample for the hook.
Okay.
So I'm gonna. Ooh, what's the name of the shit? One second.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't fault you because you undoubtedly have a lot of music in your catalog.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes it's good to, just test your knowledge on your own music because, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have bangers that you forgot about. This is one of them. Like,
yes. No, that was We Got the Jazz. That's
exactly what it was.
Yeah, because and the reason why. All right, boom. So the Q-tip sample comes from We Got the Jazz. From the young with the laid back tongue, the aim is to achieve and achieve at 21. You'll hear it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. I believe you get it.
Definitely.
I didn't freestyle on the last one, but
yeah.
We got the jazz. Look, here's a little bit of red jazz when I do this. Think about how we do it. My action is true with something that no one can do with. See will see me. I see broadcast frequency. I'm frequency. Sequency. Defense can't be E. Children not PESQ. As I have to breathe, just to catch a breath. Take about the step, rather take it west, north, south, and east. As I gotta go, beating like a beast. True, I know that I walk the streets and these people doesn't hate. They like to hate, cause I'm living life and I'm gonna be great. I have to state that most of controls all of my fate, so I just play All the food that I'm gonna serve thoughts, cause I must go dot to dot from block to block. I be the block. I top my walk. Day all dog. I will play my part. Stay sharp. Never messing with the essence of the person. Anybody second guessing cause I got a mission lesson. Thinking about the fact that I'm just breathing through the seasons. Haters be teasing. I gotta know where my feet on the ground. Praying to the Lord. Thinking about how I achieve my soul. Then I realize I get bored, so I just gotta change the game a little. Think about how I might check a fiddle. Then again, I might have to see my G and get into a middle. Oops, I'm freestyling, but it's okay because I be wildin'. I know that this is my profile, and I just be doing this like
Yeah,
styling.
yeah. Follow that drip. Follow that way. Everything on, fully equipped, everything paid. Everybody know that real mic spit it, but it never been say. Slip that through the game and the stage. Even though it's streamed and I'm still on the wave. Hey, still on the beat when the trap for the game might come through. Flow for the fame. Kill for the games for the 2-1. Soon again, the tones are the same. Still trying to spit to the flow through the airways to killing beats on four. Even though the beat might bounce and the flow might go, but it's back and forth. Still for the game when I'm on. Still for the rep the L. Still I rep that L. Our niggas come through when we rep from the cell. Yeah, we flow that well. Niggas be smoking that L. Repping the NY till we die. Hey, you know that well. Yeah, yeah, boy, rail. Back in the mic and tell. Back for the fat, back for the mat, back for the dollar bill. Nigga, I might just kill. Might just ride through in the BM when it's 546 when the I come through when you know how a nigga like me do.
Yeah.
And we just playing around, bro.
Oh, okay.
We playing around out here, man.
No, that's the first time I've actually the first time I can recall busting out a freestyle on this channel, man, on this specific show, because I usually do stuff like that on the Terrell Effect, you know what I mean? Every Saturday, we are live at around 12 o'clock, sometimes a little bit later because, you know, we're making moves to get greater. But yeah, that was dope. I appreciate that. That's what's up. Like the cipher, you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, that's Misty. Yo, that's missed these days because dudes do it, but then it's the ego. It's like, yo, dudes be spitting, they written. I get it, but sometimes it's just nice to come off the dome and just spit some shit that comes with the soul. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's out there now.
Yeah. Like the other day, I was at the Undeniable Showcase tour. They had to stop in Cambridge, you know what I mean? Had some good people come through with me. And they were doing they're rapping on the stage, and then there's a point where they're calling for the next MC, and I didn't really see the movement, you know what I mean?
Right.
That I should have saw. So I went up to the stage, and then I said what I had to say. Come off the stage now, and it's like, you know, when you strike a nerve, and the next MC has to say something that, you know what I mean, addresses what you said, even if you weren't talking to them, you know what I mean? So dude comes on with a similar flow, like that fast flow. Not hating on him, you know what I mean? I'm just saying when you're flowing fast, you have to either enunciate every word clearly to be heard, and even then you have to know the song for it to be recognized.
Exactly.
So I take a step back, I'm like, all right. And then again, who's the next MC on the mic? So I'm like, all right, cool, go up there. Because I have my own DJ set up there. I pick up my microphone. I start, when I pick up the microphone, then someone else goes up. I'm like, all right, cool. So I start doing the hype man thing. Then when I wait for everybody to take their turn, they take their turn. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I go up to the stage and they're dropping the beat. I said, I might be the most polite nerd you ever heard, sir, but these bars right here about to be attempted murder. And the gasp from the crowd was enough for me.
Yeah.
It's
like, ooh, wait.
Yeah.
Say, son.
You know what I mean? It's like, hold on a second. And then, you know, you did a thing. But, you know, I got to shout out everybody that was there. You know, held it down. We ended up partying in the hall, in the parking lot, across the street. Like, we had a good old time. You know what I mean? But, yeah, we need to just see some more. I'd like to see more of those people who are saying nothing's happening. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can't tell me. It's not that nothing's happening. It's that you're not looking for it.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. We got one more here.
Okay.
Let me, what's that? It's that Drake. Now, my question is, I work with a few artists. I work with several artists, actually.
Okay.
Are you interested in me shopping these beats to them for potential projects?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I know a couple people that might rock with that would rock with it. Just wanted to get permission before, you know?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So this one, what was the inspiration behind this one that's called Drake?
So when Drake first came out, he was trying to find himself. He's like this art. He was like a rapper, but more of like rapper, more singer. And then he kind of got out of that, became more of a rapper. Now he's getting back into it, what he really is. But
Mm,
it was one of those tracks where it's like, all right, if I seen him or if he was on it like around 2012, 2015, it's kind of been his vibe back then. And
okay.
yeah,
All right.
but even now, it'll be his vibe now because he ain't really changed.
Where's this here? Oops, wrong one. Oh man. Oh man. That was Drake, ladies and gentlemen. Big track. Okay. This is definitely like this is that straight R&B vibe. You know
Yep,
what I mean? That you were talking about earlier. Like this is like, I mean, you can get a 112 on here kind of thing.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like something like that. Like hold on, let's see. I don't sing, by the way. So
Got
like
you.
some shit like. You know what I mean?
Yep,
Some shit like that. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yep, just fill in with a few bars here and there, and
You know what
done.
I mean? Like, take a ride by the tides. Let me take a time to pass all the vibes. There's a picture about the way we live life. And you know that I gotta do it right day and night. That's a fact, we ain't gonna talk it out. No fighting, no screaming about, we just talking smooth. And we showing each other that gratitude on the latitude. You know what I mean? This one's tough. But I swear I've heard this before. Maybe I just got it and I listened to it. But like I've heard this beat. Tough stuff. It's definitely tough. But hands
Absolutely.
down, like, you know what I mean? So, I'm gonna run a couple of these by some people and see what they come up with.
Definitely.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, episode 146, Candid Conversations with Reelz.
Yes, sir.
I mean, appreciate the Cypher fam, the beats, and
Yeah,
definitely,
man. Same here, same here. Just having some fun over the airwaves.
you know what I mean? Definitely. And I'm inviting you back to an episode of Candid Conversations where, hey, maybe we'll just throw your beats in and invite other artists to come in and freestyle or something.
That'll work.
You know?
Get a little Wednesday night cipher.
You know what I mean? Wednesday or Saturday. Who knows? Wednesday night or Saturday afternoon. We'll make it happen.
Definitely.
All right. So, oh man, we're about to cut out, but for Reels, this is the block. Make sure you talk what you walk. And if you can't walk your talk, maybe you shouldn't be playing that part.
That's a fact.
All right. Bless up. Block out.